Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, boys and girls, depending on where you are around the world. Now, we are back again with another freaking video. And of course, boys and girls, before we begin, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 9K and we're so freaking close. So if you are a returning viewer or a new viewer, hit that subscribe button now. Comment throughout the video, smash the like button, and share the video at the end. But with that being said, let's not waste any more time. This video here is called My Problem with Online Health Experts, Abbey and more by Obese. And it's crazy because yesterday we did a live reaction to Amberlynn Reid reacting to Abbey reacting to her. And in that video, even though we had obviously made the reaction to the original video by Abbey about Amberlynn Reid, we definitely did revisit some points about how the way Abbey went about reviewing Amberlynn Reid and how it just didn't feel like she really did much research on her when it comes to who Amberlynn is. It was more like she was advising us on what you should do when you're in this weight loss and XYZ, but not really addressing to us, what Amberlynn really specifically should be doing based on her whole character. But with that being said, let's see what Obese has to say this one, and yeah, we'll take it from there.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So today's video, I want to talk about something that I've noticed recently on a lot of social media, and that is going to be registered dietitians that are really in the camp of intuitive eating, sharing their opinions on that. And I just kind of wanted to talk about how I feel about how some of these registered dietitians are going about sharing their ideology. Now, before we get into the topic, again, I want to remind you guys, I do have a podcast that I would love for you to check out. It's called
Promo Time.
I do it with my brother. We have a lot of really cool interviews. We talk about a lot of topics that I'll talk about here on video, but it's just a longer format. So if you do like these types of videos, you will really like the podcast. I have a YouTube link down there. Also, if you search Work for Change on pretty much any podcast platform, it'll pop up. So thanks again so much, you guys, for supporting it. I really, really appreciate it. Now, before we get into this, I do want to make it very clear that I do believe that most of the people that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and most of the people that share what they believe, they do it because they're trying to come from a place of being helpful. They're not trying to be hurtful. And I want to make that very clear. So I don't want anyone to think that this video is me trying to attack anyone. But again, it's just me sharing my thoughts as to why I think maybe the way that they are explaining how they feel is not as beneficial as maybe they might believe. So when it comes to...
That is understandable because, like I said already, when it came to the video that we saw yesterday by Amberlynn Reid reacting to Abbey, a lot of us just didn't feel like Abbey had tackled that video in the angle that we wanted to tackle it, because we really wanted her to tackle it in a way where she was pretty much giving less soft love and giving more tough love to Amberlynn Reid, and really kind of breaking down, the mental stability of the girl and why she's on this journey, not telling us that, she's at this way and then she did this and she should be eating that. You know what I mean? But yeah, okay, cool. All I'm saying is that, okay, cool. I agree. Yeah, whatever. Let's go.
Intuitive eating, this is an eating style that has become very, very popular, and it's actually, surprise, surprise, it's the way that I eat. So I am not at all against intuitive eating because this is how I eat. I don't sit there and track all of my meals anymore. I am able to understand what my body needs, and I fuel myself accordingly. But that being said, I understand that getting to the point where I am now was a massive struggle, and it took a lot of trial and error to get here. I do believe that anybody can get to what I've gotten to, and that they can eat intuitively, but I do believe that it is a process, and there are certain steps that maybe different people are going to have to take to get to where I am now. But intuitive eating is just eating in a way where you're not tracking, you're not obsessing over food, you're able to understand, okay, this is what my body needs to perform, this is what I feel like my body wants to have, and if you don't have any super disordered eating, habits that might be going on, you can do that and see success with that. Now, intuitive eating is a very, very popular eating style when it comes to a lot of RDs or registered dietitians that are against diet culture, that really do not like the whole before and after thing. They don't like tracking any food. They are very much against anything that could be thought of as a diet. So this first post that I want to read, it says this: weight loss in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's intentional weight loss that I won't promote. And then going on in the caption, it says, because there's...
Let me read that again. Weight loss in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's intentional weight loss that I won't promise. Okay.
in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's intentional weight loss that I won't promote. And then going on in the caption, it says, because there seems to be confusion, weight loss in and of itself is not a bad thing. If you lose weight as a result of listening to your body and adapting healthy habits, there's nothing wrong with that. And if your healthy habits do not result in weight loss, there's also nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong or that those behaviors are not beneficial. I would say I pretty much agree with all of that right there. I don't want you to feel ashamed for losing weight or even wanting to lose weight. We're all immersed in diet culture. It's hard to not desire weight loss. But with what I've learned about intentional weight loss, it's no longer something I can support. And now this is where I start to disagree. I think that...
I mean, define intentional weight loss. I mean, that means you lose weight because you want to lose weight, right? You're intending on losing weight. Let me see what he has to say before I say my point, because that's a very interesting statement there.
A lot of times when it comes to these registered dietitians or these people that are very huge proponents of intuitive eating, they seem to maybe forget about the people that truly have disordered eating problems or are food addicts. It seems like these people just think everyone is maybe just always struggling with trying to lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds. And it's really frustrating to me because I come from being morbidly obese and my intuitive eating was literally killing me on a day-to-day basis. If you're just pursuing weight loss, you can make some really bad decisions. But if you, just because you're focused on your weight, that isn't in and of itself this terrible thing that is like the end of the world. If you are 200 pounds overweight, focusing on your weight a little bit, I don't think is that big of a deal. Not everyone agrees on the...
Let me go back. Let me go back a little bit. Let me go back a little bit. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Okay. I mean, listen, I don't disagree with what he's saying per se, you know, because one point that he did make very clear, if I just go back to this point here he made, it was just around here.
Dietitians or these people that are very huge proponents of intuitive eating, they seem to maybe forget about the people that truly have disordered eating problems or are food addicts.
Yeah, you know what? I can definitely agree with that because, I mean, the point that I'm going to make is not necessarily based on what he's saying here, but like what I can say is that based on the video that we saw yesterday of Amberlynn Reid reacting to Abbey reacting to her or reviewing her, the biggest problem, one of the biggest problems that I found about that video was that video didn't relate to the title. It didn't relate to the person. It did not relate to Amberlynn Reid at all. It was as if she had completely neglected that Amberlynn Reid is someone that has this mental thing of, I'm going to keep going in the wrong direction, you know. I'm going to keep gaining that weight, you know what I mean? I'm going to keep damaging my body, you know what I mean? She didn't exactly tackle the mental mind, you know, kind of break down to us maybe why Amberlynn does. I mean, we all have our assumptions of why we believe Amberlynn Reid does what she does. But, you know, even though she's the dietitian, at the same time, she did bring someone else who also had experience within that field. And that person was talking about how they had one-on-one clients and how they'll help them. And both people in those videos didn't do anything realistically to say, do you know what, Amber? Maybe we need to do this, and that to try and help you here. Because to be honest with you, when it comes to Amberlynn Reid herself in particular, with the whole weight situation, it's all about what's going on in her head. You know what I mean? That thing that's going in her head that has allowed us to not have no sympathy for her, not have any sympathy for her anymore. Because the thing that goes in her head is literally just lie and lie and lie and lie and lie, manipulate, and it just goes on and on. Do you know what I mean? Which is why we've grown to not have that type of sympathy. But at the same time, we still have that little hope that maybe someone has the answer to how Amberlynn Reid can get out of this mind cycle. Same as Foodie Booty as well. You know what I mean? So for me, I would say the thing that I felt like was neglected in this situation from Abbey and the other woman at hand was that tackling the real problem. You know, instead of tackling the real problem, you're just telling us things that we basically already know, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with telling us what we already know, but at the same time, we're looking for something else, you know? We're looking for something that is going to make us feel like you're relating your topic to the person you're speaking about. You're not just making the topic for the sake of making the topic, if you know what I mean? So yeah, but let's keep going.
Seems like these people just think everyone is maybe just always struggling with trying to lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds. And it's really frustrating to me because I come from being morbidly obese and my intuitive eating was literally killing me on a day-to-day basis. If you're just pursuing weight loss, you can make some really bad decisions. But if you, just because you're focused on your weight, that isn't in and of itself this terrible thing that is like the end of the world. If you are 200 pounds overweight, focusing on your weight a little bit, I don't think is that big of a deal. No. Not everyone agrees on the exact numbers, but several studies have found that intentional weight loss is not sustainable beyond 2 to 5 years for 90 to 98% of participants. Intentional weight loss results not only in gaining the weight back for the majority of people, but 2 out of 3 gain back more. Intentional weight loss also leads to weight cycling for many, weight yo-yoing up and down, which has also been linked to negative health outcomes. Intentional weight loss is not the cure-all for every ailment as it's often touted, and it's not the secret to more confidence or better body image. Finally, intentional weight loss can impede our health by putting the focus on restrictive behaviors that are more likely to result in weight loss rather than on nourishing behaviors that take into account what our bodies need. I do agree that most people, when they go on diets, they are going on these crazy restrictive diets that I don't think they need to do either. I think people need to focus on, again, having those healthy habits, finding something that's sustainable. Sustainability has been my favorite word for years now because that is very, very important. But again, I think these people, they take it too far and they make it this black and white situation when there's a lot of gray in between.
Yeah.
Also, I do agree that a lot of people, especially...
Yeah, there is a lot of gray in between, you know, there really is, you know, and I feel like, you know, sometimes when people go to university and they go and study, you know, obviously health or whatever they study, and I feel like sometimes then people forget that even though you've learned what you've learned, I'm not telling people how they should be doing their job, you know what I mean? But when you go and learn what you learn, you get your qualification in what you've obviously studied, you know what I mean? And especially if you're studying something that involves helping people's lives, you know what I mean? The matter of the fact is, once you come out of those studies, there is a difference between academics and reality. There are people in the world who are just life smart, that's myself, and there's people in the world who are just academically smart, you know what I mean, okay? But it doesn't mean that one is better than the other. But one thing that I can say is that it's important to try and put those two things together. And the point I'm trying to make here is that if you are someone who's a dietitian, you know, or someone who's a therapist, or anyone that's trying to help people with mental issues in terms of their weights, you know what I mean, or anything else in life, it's important to not necessarily always go by the book, because sometimes when you learn about someone, you start to tend to realize that this person doesn't really relate to what you've learned by the book, and maybe you just have to go into another deeper kind of angle about it, you know what I mean? And I feel like, again, when it came to the situation with Amberlynn Reid and Abbey Sharp, it just felt like what was being said wasn't being said based on the character herself. It was being said on just a general person who would have those. It felt like it was based on a general person that is at that weight and has had binge eating disorders throughout the years and has been unable to you know, to switch it off to do better, you know what I mean? And that's something that wasn't really tackled, and it was just so frustrating because it was two women were on this video, you know what I mean, of two different professions, you know, and not one of them even tackled the fact that, listen, Amberlynn Reid doesn't necessarily relate to what you're talking about. She relates to this, but we can't necessarily put the blame on the lady who Abbey Sharp called, because she just came in to obviously say whatever she needed to say based on what Abbey Sharp had obviously asked her. Abbey Sharp's responsibility was to make sure that, you know, the topic itself at hand about Amberlynn Reid was handled in a specific manner, if you know what I'm saying. I hope I'm making sense, boys and girls, you know, because really and truly, I just didn't feel like that video was informative enough to people who might be like Amberlynn Reid mentally. You see what I'm saying? Because there are people out there who are watching Amberlynn Reid mentally, who are trying to help her come out of it because they also need the help. And then there's people out there like Amberlynn Reid who are watching Amberlynn Reid because they generally just want to behave like her. And either way, whether you're one of the two, coming out with a video that can tackle the Amberlynn approach will at least help those one or two people who have those mentalities, if you know what I'm saying. But let's keep it going, boys and girls.
Especially with a lot of how these diets have been touted and have been marketed as, is that losing weight will solve all your problems. I just recently made a video that talked about the 3 things that losing weight actually didn't solve at all. So I think it is very important that more people do talk about how, you know, losing weight, maybe it improved their health, but it's not like it's going to be this cure-all that's going to solve every problem that you might have. So no, I am not anti-weight loss or anti-health, but I am against pursuing intentional weight loss and won't promote it. I'm against fat phobia and the notion that thinner is always better. I'm against diet culture promoting weight loss as the key to better health and a better life. I'm against the suffering that people put themselves through in order to shrink their bodies because they've been told all their lives that this is a worthy pursuit, and it's their duty to keep their body in check. I don't want to shame you for losing weight or wanting to, but I refuse to promote the pursuit of weight loss. Now, at the end of this post, they bring up fat phobia. And again, I don't understand why someone wanting to lose weight or feeling that they need to lose weight for their health is a fat phobic notion, or those have anything to do with each other. I completely disagree with that because, again, I was 360 pounds and I don't believe it was fat phobic of me to want to lose weight to better my life and eventually, hopefully, live a much longer life.
And you know what? That's the problem as well, you know, is I feel like, you know, some celebrities even go through this situation where, you know, they'll start off their career and they'll promote being a plus size woman or a plus size man. Do you know what I mean? They'll promote being this, you know, oversized person, you know, and they'll gain the followers of people who are similar to them within body type, and people that also want to feel like they were. I mean, like, for example, don't really want to use her name, but for example, Lizzo, you know, she's someone that really promoted the whole idea of being a plus size woman, and really, you know, was getting a crowd of women and men who really wanted to back her because they also, you know, are part of this this community of, yeah, I want to be big and not healthy. That's the impression that I was given per se. But then the second, now I know very little about the story, but the second Lizzo was able to, well, started to lose weight, it started a backlash. And she's not the only person that's gone through this, you know what I mean? There's been other people who have gone through this situation where the second they start to lose weight, all of a sudden they start to be attacked by their own people that supposedly were supporters of them, you know? And I feel like sometimes the hardest thing about one of the hardest things about losing weight sometimes is that the people around you don't want to support you. And it's crazy because the people around you that don't want to support you, they don't want to support you because they don't want to lose weight themselves, because they don't have the motion, they don't have the courage, they don't have the motivation, they don't have the oomph, they just don't have whatever it is that they don't have to lose that weight. So when you say I'm going to lose weight, they're like, so you're gonna leave me behind now, yeah? Oh, okay. So you know I can't do it. I mean, you can, but you know I can't. I know I can, but I can't. But now you want to do it. Like, what's wrong with you? No. You're big. You stay big with me. You're not allowed to lose weight. No, stop yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. I can't imagine what it feels like to try and better your life, and people are telling you no. You know what I mean? Or manipulating you otherwise. I mean, going back to Amberlynn Reid, you know, we've got the situation with. It's not necessarily that they're entirely the same situation, but again, we've got the thing where Becky has lost weight in the past, but then Amber has found a way to reverse it to make sure she puts that weight back on. And we know that Becky's now on the journey again, and it's only a matter of time until that's reversed as well by Amber, you know what I mean? Because there's some people in the world that just don't want to see other people better themselves, because watching that person be big as well makes them feel good about being big as well. They use that person as an excuse to carry on being that way, but they're like, listen, that person's out there, she's shaking all she's got, she's making all this money, she's doing all of this, she's really promoting da. But the matter of the fact is, that's all lovely, but sometimes those people you're looking at might think to themselves, when I'm on that stage, boy, you know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Or it's, come on. I mean, Rebel Wilson, that's another one. Rebel Wilson's she's done so well, you know. I mean, the last time I saw Rebel Wilson, she had lost a dramatic amount of weight, you know what I mean, which is beautiful. But I think she was another one that was kind of slandered as well for that. Not like she even ever represented being, you know, a part of body positivity or XYZ, you know what I mean? But again, it's just sad that whether you're a celebrity or you're not, when you're trying to lose weight, there's always someone to try and tell you otherwise. But anyway, I ranted way too much. Let's go.
This post says, so many of the people selling the idea that weight loss is the secret to living your happiest, healthiest life are so deep into disordered eating that they don't even see it. So just taking that post at face value, I can say that there absolutely are definitely some people out there that have lost a lot of weight that are now big influencers that are really struggling with their relationship with food. So again, there are points in this post that I do agree with. Then she goes,
I do agree with it to a certain degree, because obviously, you know, if you are someone that loses weight and then you become an influencer, it's going to be hard for you to want to relax sometimes and have that cheat meal or have that cheat day or even have that cheat week. You know what I mean? Because you're an influencer now. All eyes are on you. You know what I mean? And I think that's why if you're someone that is losing weight and you want to be an influencer at the same time because you want to inspire other people, just be ready for the backlash of you're going to be under immense pressure to continue that journey, to continue promoting that lifestyle. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be so mentally draining, you know. So at the end of the day, that's why in life you have choices. You either lose weight privately or you lose weight in front of a camera. But make sure you're ready for that moment you get to that and people are looking at you as their savior. Because once you're a savior for life. Unless you cut yourself off completely, then it's a different ballgame. But let's go.
Goes on to say, I know this because I was one of them. I was coached to sell my story, how sad my life was before my transformation, and how amazing it was after I lost the weight. I told a great story, and I had the before and after pics to back it up. I never felt like I was being dishonest. I just didn't recognize how deep I was into my obsession with food, fitness, and thinness until I started to recover from the disordered eating that developed when I made selling thinness my job. I didn't see that my life had started to revolve around calories, macros, and pounds, and I viewed my growing obsession as merely dedication to a healthier life. I also had no idea how much fat phobia was wrapped up in both my transformation photos and the story that accompanied them. Again, we are linking transformation pictures, before and after photos, with fat phobia. I mean, I'm sure that there are some people that you might be able to say are fat phobic with the way that they post before and afters, but I think linking or lumping everyone together that posts before and afters, that posts their progress, how excited they are to have lost weight, especially if you are someone that is coming from, again, morbid obesity. I know I bring that up a lot, but again, I don't think these people that are posting this stuff really understand how much of a prison you are in when you are morbidly obese and the amount that you can move is very limited, the amount that you can do in your life is very limited, the fact that you might be thinking to yourself, my life is going to end very early and it's because of my size. I I really don't think the people that post these things are thinking about those people. And for me, I am always going to think about those people because I was one of them. I don't believe that everyone who's trying to sell you weight loss and the supposed perfect life that comes along with a thinner body is an evil agent of diet culture out to make you hate yourself. But I see how so many people have bought into the lies that diet culture perpetuates that they don't see how disordered and fatphobic their behaviors are. Be careful who you look up to and take advice from online and elsewhere in your life. Looking the part of what we consider to be healthy and fit does not mean that someone's habits are healthy at all. And it's very likely that they might not even realize how disordered their habits have become. Now, again, there are parts with that I do agree. I think especially with Instagram, most people are posting their highlight reel. So you might be following people that you think are super healthy and fit and doing everything right, but in the background, they are really struggling with some disordered eating. They're really struggling with just really unhealthy habits that they're not maybe posting about. So I do agree that there are definitely some people online that might not be the best to be following. Now, the next person we're going to be talking about is Abbey Sharp.
Oh, okay. I'm with that. And it's crazy because, you know, we know, I mean, listen, I'm not even going to include Chantel in this one, to be honest with you, but I feel like, you know, when Amberlynn Reid did start YouTube that many years ago, you know, 8 years ago, you know, there was probably a big part of it that wanted to lose weight, but obviously just the fact that she became an influencer probably put a lot of pressure on the girl, you know what I mean? Hence the reason why she's at where she's at now. But the problem is that sometimes when people are put under pressure, they crumble. They crumble and then they disappear because they don't want to be a part of this pressure. But then there's some people, when it comes to pressure, they take advantage of that pressure. Now, there's two ways they can take advantage of that pressure. Well, there's more than two, but I'm going to talk about two. One of the ways of taking advantage of that pressure is saying, you know what? I've got this pressure on now. I've put it on myself, so now I have no excuse but to lose the weight. Or on the flip side, people use that pressure as a way to manipulate the system, to manipulate the people that are watching, to make them believe that they are going to lose the weight, but really they're not, because the way they see it is that, well, the pressure is the pressure, but because it's so much for me to not be able to lose weight, I might as well use the pressure to earn me some money, you know what I mean? So there's always a twist and towel to anything and everything, you know? But yeah, let's keep it going.
She is a YouTuber, and she's actually a registered dietitian as well. She has a whole series on her channel where she reacts to full day of eatings and gives her opinions and her thoughts. She recently did one on Gabby Hanna, and a couple people have sent me this and wanted me to maybe share my thoughts on it. Her video is about 40 minutes long, so we're not going to go into in depth about every single thing. But again, here at the very start, she's talking about how Gabby is basically immersed in diet culture.
Hey everyone, I'm Abbey Sharp. Welcome to Abby's Kitchen. So today's What I Eat in a Day YouTuber review is of Gabby Hanna.
That the most frustrating and honestly sometimes heartbreaking thing when it comes to weight loss is all of the conflicting advice and opinions out there. Everybody.
If anybody knows, oh wait, hold on a minute. Oh, I was just about to say, if anybody knows this video itself in particular, you know what I mean, and you'd like me to react to it, then send me the link. But I think the link is in here. But either way, if you'd like me to react to this video here from Gabby Hanna, let me know, okay? And then obviously I can give you guys a review on that one on my next video or whenever, you know what I mean? So yeah, feel free to DM me or put it down in the comment section. No, just DM me. It's better that way. Yeah, I remember easier when DMs. But let's keep it going. At madziemedia, it's right there. Yeah. There. Yeah. Let's go.
Has an opinion. Some people will tell you to eat only 3 big meals a day. Some people will tell you to eat 6 small meals a day. Some people will say don't eat certain foods. Other people will say that exact same food is essential to your diet. And if you are not one of the beautiful unicorns who is blessed with a mystical genetic makeup, figuring it out can be really, really difficult. But you have to not give up. You have to not let the missteps or the backslides stop you.
So totally agree with Gabby on the fact that the all or nothing mentality is not healthy, and you need to really tune into your body's intuition to find out what feels good to you. But I just kind of wanted to flag the kind of Fitspo diet culture language that was going on there, just because I do feel like that could be triggering for some people. And I don't want people to hear that and feel like a little bit of victim blaming, like, oh, if I'm not feeling great, or if I'm not at the weight that I want to be, then I'm just not trying hard enough, and I've given up. So I just wanted to flag that may be problematic.
It seems like a lot of people, when they are in the camp of anti-diet culture, in the camp of intuitive eating, it's if you feel like you need to work hard, that's a bad thing and you shouldn't ever have to work hard. And I think that there is a season in your life where you might have to work pretty hard. Like when I had to lose my weight, I had to work pretty hard, but it's about learning as you are working hard and learning how to find a sustainable way to eat, find a sustainable diet. And it's not going to be easy. And I think that a lot of people that are anti-diet culture, intuitive eating, they think that it's just going to be easy for everybody, but that's not the case when you are coming from a food addiction or you're coming from other disordered eating. Now, one of the comments on her video actually made me laugh. So someone commented, when talking about eating intuitively, intuitively, you greatly underestimate my body's ability to tell me to eat an entire family-sized pizza every day. And Abbey replied saying, it may at first, but once you've stopped the dichotomous thinking, those urges go away. And then somebody else replied to her and said, wow, this is a gross oversimplification. It's clear that you've never really struggled with overeating. It's great that you found something that works for you, i.e. intuitive eating, but it's not necessarily for everyone. And I think that's...
You know what the biggest problem that I found with the comment from Abby Sharp? Why does she use that long word? I don't understand. Like, why? You know, it's like sometimes, you know, this is something that I find about people who are academically intelligent, right? When you confront them about what they've just told you on their academic level, but you tell them your opinion on a life level, because the comment by the lady up top there, her opinion or her statement was based on life. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I said, there's people who are life smart, people who are academically smart. Some people are lucky to have both. Obviously, in this situation here, the woman up top, I'm going to say she's the one who's life smart because she said, how can it da-da-da-da? Abby's then come back and in fine form, she's used a long word, okay? Do you know why people do that? Because when they use that long word, they do it so therefore you look a bit confused and you're like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. It's just a way to make you feel like you look dumb. You know what I mean? It really is, because I have this experience with some people at work, you know, you say to them this and that and you know you're making sense, but then they'll respond with some word just to try and throw you off. So you're like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? And I mean, for me personally, you know, I find that quite patronizing personally. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why can you not respond to me just casually? Just keep it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I might be nitpicking, but I'm just saying from self experiences, I feel like when people do that, is because they're failing to relate to the comment that they were given by someone, and they're instead of giving them a response of reality or something like that, they give them a response that is based by the book. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, people, but let's keep it going.
That works for you, i.e. intuitive eating, but it's not necessarily for everyone. And I think that's an incredibly perfect way to describe how a lot of these people that are huge proponents of intuitive eating and anti-diet culture, I really don't think that most of them have truly struggled with being addicted to food. Because if when I was at my heaviest, said, okay, I'm just gonna stop feeling guilty about eating bad food and I'm just gonna do it anyway, and then eventually my body will intuitively tell me to eat less or eat better, it just wouldn't have happened, because I had absolutely no knowledge about what is healthy, what wasn't healthy, what I should be eating, what I shouldn't be eating. And so if I just was like, well, I'll just figure out what my body intuitively tells me to eat, I was eating fast food 3 times a day. That wasn't because I was feeling guilty when I would eat fast food and then eat fast food again. It was because I had absolutely no knowledge about nutrition or anything like that. I think one of the most important things when it comes to being able to eat intuitively, and again, this is how I eat, is having the knowledge about what's in certain types of foods, the amount of calories that might be in certain oils and liquid calories, and understanding maybe what you should be avoiding when you put a dressing on your salad. You know, is this dressing have like 50 grams of fat, or is it maybe a lower fat dressing? Like, understanding those things are really important if you are going to use intuitive eating, so you're not overeating all the time. And I think that is one of the things that most people seem to forget, especially when they're a registered dietitian, probably because they have a really healthy relationship with food and they know what's in most different foods. But if you look at the regular American diet, someone that is, you know, dieting or maybe doesn't understand food, they're not going to have that knowledge. So to just tell them, oh, just eat intuitively and you'll be fine, I think that, again, that's a gross oversimplification of what it really takes to be able to eat intuitively and stay in a calorie range that's not going to be putting on fat over the years. So again, to wrap it up, I think that intuitive eating is great, and I really think that for a lot of people it can be very useful, but I think that it is very important to understand it does take a while to get there. And if you're not there right now and you're still trying to track your calories, you're still trying to track your macros, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that you're toxic. I don't think that you're fat phobic. I don't think that you're stuck in diet culture and you'll never be able to get out of it. I think that it is an important tool to learn, to understand how to track food, to understand what is in certain types of food, what to maybe avoid, what maybe works for you. I don't think that there's anything wrong and that you're a toxic person for partaking in tracking certain macros or calories. But again, that is just my opinion. I would love to hear what you guys think down in the...
You know, this whole diet culture thing, to be honest with you, I think I've heard that word. I've heard that word once, you know what I mean? Maybe I've heard it before, but I just ignore it because, you know, straight away, if you are someone who's already categorized themselves or someone's put you in this category of diet culture, listen, that's demotivating already itself alone. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, I said it yesterday. We need to, you need to do your best to remove the word diet, especially diet culture. Wow. I can't imagine someone saying to me, oh yeah, I've been in diet culture for so long. What do you mean you've been in diet culture? What's a diet culture? No, remove that out of your system. No wonder why you're somewhere where you shouldn't be, you know? Remove that. Honestly, guys, words, trust me, change some of the words you use when you're trying to better yourself. It will make a big difference, okay? Even if, you know, sometimes in your head you might say, okay, out loud you might say, you know, yes, I'm trying to, adapt my lifestyle to a healthier lifestyle or something like that, whatever, okay? But in your head, you might be like, yeah, diet culture. Listen, it's gonna happen, of course. But what I'm saying is like, try and remove words like that. Really do try and remove words like that, you know. Damn, I kind of forgot what I was going to say before that. Damn, man, this guy spoke a lot. He spoke a lot. You know, okay, that's it. Intuitive eating, calorie counting. You know, to be honest with you, he made a good point about if you are someone who's always been, I don't know, who is a dietitian or someone that knows the health, you're not really going to have to count calories, and you're not really going to have to look into what's this and that, so you don't really need that much education per se, which I can agree to a certain degree because, I mean, for me personally, I've never calorie counted. I've never really cared to look into it because I'm like, why am I going to do that? I want to eat food and just chill, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I know that I also exercise, so it's also anything that I eat is going to go away, you know what I mean? So the only thing that I could say really and truly when it comes to this topic itself at hand is I think some people benefit from researching what they're about to eat and researching what's in the food in terms of calories, fats, X, Y, Z, okay? If that works for you, do it. There's nothing stopping you. But then there's some people, they're just like, I just don't really want to be going on my phone, open up fitness app, then I'm going to type this in. I just want to eat food and just feel good and just be healthy, you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, boys and girls, I'm not saying what I'm going to say to you next is the best advice in particular, but I can say this. Even the times when I'm like, do you know what? I want to cut a little bit of weight. I want to get a little bit more shredded. I want to get a little bit more toned. Do you know what I mean? I don't get a fitness thing. I literally just say to myself, okay, cool. I know what I'm going to eat, but I'm going to eat maybe less of this X, Y, Z. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I say, do you know what I mean? But I shouldn't be saying, do you know what I mean? Because you might not know what I mean. But I'm just saying that if you feel like counting calories and doing too much research is going to pretty much not really help you, it's going to set you back because it's going to feel like a much of an effort. All I can say is this, whatever, depending on what you're eating now and depending on what you already believe is healthy, continue with it, but try and continue with it at a certain portion. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what I've always done. I've always done like a portion control. Now, even though I've done a portion control, I don't count I don't count the calories. Literally, I'll just be like, okay, cool. I know a few months ago I was having this amount of food in this plate. This plate was pretty much filled up. Now I'm eating a plate that's halfway through. You know what I mean? Okay. But also on top of that, I have to remember that I also do work out at the same time. So it's not like it's just me having less food that's gonna help me stay in shape or help me, you know, cut that extra fat that I want to cut out because I want to be a bit more toned. You know what I mean? I have to remember that. So that I feel like sometimes when people are having these conversations about healthy eating, I was about to say the D word myself there. So when people are having these conversations about eating, you know, healthy eating and whatnot, I feel like it is quite important to really stress also the fitness side of things, to be honest with you, because fitness is something that I feel like, you know, in this culture, it hasn't really been tackled enough in terms of what I've researched so far. So don't come at me what I've seen so far from what I've reacted to, you know. I feel like fitness is definitely the one that we don't speak about enough. It's more about the food, what am I supposed to eat? Am I meant to eat this? Am I meant to count? Am I meant to Listen, either way, yes, you can benefit your health and benefit your size by eating good. Don't get me wrong, you can. But the thing you got to understand, people, is that it's all great to be eating good and to be, you know, healthily good. Listen, it's fantastic. But if you're neglecting the fitness side of things, eating good might make you feel good and it might make you lose that weight, which is fine. But when you're walking a long distance, I don't know, you go on holiday, you go to Disney or something like that, you have to walk everywhere. You're going to need energy for that. That's why I say that one of the main things that people are missing in these conversations is movement. Fitness doesn't need to be in the gym, you know what I mean? Movement. I'm saying that, you know, taking those walks, you know, having a job that allows you to walk a lot, you know what I mean? If your house is only 5 minutes away from work, walk there, you know what I mean? If you're making a 5-minute drive, but your walk could be 10, 15 minutes, walk there. Or if you're going to work and it's quite far away, that's fine. Lunchtime, instead of going to in the UK we call it the staff room. I think in America you call it the cafeteria, I'm not too sure. But at lunchtime, when you're having your break, don't go to sit in your car and eat, you know what I mean? Or don't go to the cafeteria or go to the, you know what I mean? Or go to XYZ. Go for a walk on your lunch, you know what I mean? Make something that you can have that's portable, you know what I mean? Well, you would anyway, you know what I mean? Walk. Or maybe if you got something that you want to eat, but you got to sit down, walk to the nearest park, or, you know, walk somewhere, you know what I mean? Eat there, you know what I mean? Like, walk. Find an excuse to walk, you know, because honestly, it makes a difference because it will also help with your breathing. Because listen, legit, like when lockdown first came and I wasn't able, I mean, I was walking, but I wasn't exercising as much. Even though I was eating good, I remember like going back to the gym properly or going to work and going up the stairs, you know what I mean? Or having to quickly run somewhere. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here, man? I'm like, damn, I need to do some more movement. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just saying movement is something that should be added in these conversations, but it's not. I feel like people are afraid to add fitness in there because the second you hear word fitness, you're thinking, oh my God, I got to go to the gym, got to get on the treadmill. Oh my God, I need to go for a run. No. Movement. Just find an excuse to have movement. Okay? Especially if you're someone that can't just cut out the fast food. You can't just cut out the unhealthies, okay? And you still need to have some of them a part of your journey to a more beneficial lifestyle. Add movement in there, okay? Add it in there. You know what I mean? Like, come on, stop messing about out here, okay? If you want to go food shopping, you got your partner with you, or you got your kids with you, and the food shopping, the supermarket, or you know, whatever, the local store is just there. Walk there, buy your food, and just walk back holding them. You know, make your partner can hold them, hold the other bags. Kids can hold some other bags. You know what I mean? A nice little date. You know what I mean? Getting food shopping together and making it into a walk. I'm just saying, find an excuse to walk. It's easy to find an excuse to keep eating and and not benefiting your health, but find an excuse to walk, as well as bettering your lifestyle. But nonetheless, boys and girls, I've said enough. I think. Never have to be fair. I've always got something else to say. But yes, let me know what you got to say, boys and girls, okay? And as per usual, roll to 9K, hit the subscribe button, people, okay? And comment, of course, and share the video, please. All right, people, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for your time. Peace.